On London, we've got humongous, populated, fascinating, rich, loud, exciting, famous, historical, dangerous, fun, tall and unknown.
London's very historical. There are loads of things that have happened there.
You think of anything that's happened?
The Great Fire of London.
Things get burned down. Property gets damaged. People get hurt. Why were they going around calling this Great Fire of London the Great Fire of London? What was so great about the Great Fire of London? Yes?
Because it's a great fire. Because it's a big fire that burned down the whole city.
There you go. It was a great big fire. Great big fire. It started on a Saturday night, Sunday morning, still burning on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. It's a lot of fire when you think about it.
And the Romans built this. And wasn't Boudicca here?
Let's get the Romans to London!
My name is Marcus. Marcus Alpius Peregrinus. Marcus Alpius Peregrinus is when the Romans first arrived. We came from the south coast, and there was this really wide river, an estuary. And it got narrower and narrower and narrower. And what we needed to do was find some way to cross it so we could get to the north of the country. One thing that we can do in the Roman army is build. We can build structures like houses, we can build roads, we can build bridges very easily. And the first bridge that crossed the estuary there, I think we put it up in about 8 days, and it was ready. So we can imagine what happens. People cross the bridge. It's a long journey. Should we just stop here for a bit? Before we then go on the other road towards Colchester, the capital of Britannia. And as people stopped and had something to eat and stayed for a day or two, then a shop or two appeared. Some traders appeared. And then somebody had the great idea, that's an estuary, a river. I could bring a boat up there and I could put some goods next to that bridge, and they'd be able to go south and north into the country. Bit by bit, a port appeared. And then the army felt that that port had to be actually protected, so they put a garrison, a fort there. And then a wall. And what you then got is London. From absolutely nothing.
Lovely to meet you all. Lovely. I have a particular interest in food because I've got a lot of mouths to feed. None of my grandchildren were evacuated. My daughter said no. Well, she said no because they've always got a snotty nose and it's always dribbling. So, you know, who's going to pick them? All right?
Put that light out! Don't borrow your head! What?
And you can see some of the things that were happening here. Buildings falling down on you, the fire brigade running out of water, flames everywhere. So many fires, they couldn't put them out. So they just had to let them burn. They're called conflagrations, but that just means a fire that you're stuck with. Wait for it to burn out. And of course, because they came and dropped the bombs during the day, during the night, their mates can come along and drop more bombs onto the flames. Each one of those is a high explosive bomb. And you might see here, in fact, if we look here, there's one each end of this school here. And in fact, we'll talk about that later on, but you're surrounded by them. It's everywhere. The whole of London, the whole of Britain, covered in bombs like this. So that's where we are now, in December 1944.
Right, so the spaces that you either live in or go to school in were affected by the war.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
It's actually quite shocking.
Yeah.
Scary in a way.
And then when we looked at the map of all those bombs, all the red dots, it was just like, oh my word, how many bombs are there? Yeah, I didn't fancy Somerset.
Well, they don't have bombs in Somerset.
Well, they don't have anything in Somerset.
You must stand quietly waiting a line to go to the railway station. You must stand quietly wait.
Right, this group here. All put your gas masks, labels, good. Get on the train.
But I have to think about it.
Enough, just sit down. Sit better. Get on the train.
Look on the bright side, go to the countryside. I hate the countryside, it's filthy.
You've never been there. I bet you don't even know where it is.
I don't care, I'm not going.
This is Horse Guards Parade.
Queen Elizabeth, for God's sake, the Queen. Stand for death.
This is Walthamstow News at the top of the hour with me, Petra Morgan. The latest breaking news as it breaks.
This is the ancient house, 15th century timber frame.
And over there is the vestry house. It's a museum.
It's got a really old car in it. 1892, the first four-wheeled car with an internal combustion engine.
Built by Frederick Brewer in his garden in Connaught Road.
And that is Madge Gill.
Who's that?
She was an artist, really good at drawing. She was born in Walthamstow and lived in the High Street when she was little.
He knows a lot of stuff like that.
And how do you feel about London now? Have you learnt anything about London?
I actually thought London was just all about the city and stuff, but I learnt how, I thought Manor Park myself was really boring because there was nothing to do really. But when I learned more about the history behind it and how it was, I think it's more exciting to me now.
We'll take a
think it's kind of the same because like on Rumford Road there was robbing carriages, and I didn't actually know that until we worked on the show about being a Londoner. I thought as well London was only about the cities and the people here and just about like the landmarks everywhere, but it's more than that. It's like a home. It's where everyone is. It's very diverse. I think in the last song in the show we talk about like London being diverse, and you guys asked our ideas and we told you about how like people are, how it is, and there's so many cultures and it's so fun and nice living here. The show fitted in perfectly.
The way I think of Walthamstow is sometimes, at some points, it can be a little bit smelly on the roads because there are so many cars. And I think it's as adventurous because there's so many stores and shops. There's so many areas you can go.
And I think of Walthamstow as sunny because when it's summer, that's when it's the most beautiful place in London.
I get a funny feeling inside of me, just walking up and down.
So what I love about London, I really like how it's quite a friendly city, and there's a lot of diversity, and in Camden it's like lots of people know each other.
Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I love London town.
What I like about London is how it's a very friendly place to be, and as soon as you walk in, you can smell the fish and chips scent all throughout the towns, and I guess everyone likes fish and chips.
It's got really old things and lots of big things, and and it's like it's got everything that you would think of.
Maybe it's because